ChatGPT, please give a crash course on Canadian politics with a summary of major political parties and their leaders, and contemporary issues and status update. Sure, I can provide a brief overview of Canadian politics, major political parties, their leaders, and contemporary issues. Overview of Canadian politics. Canada is a parliamentary democracy with a federal system of government. The country is divided into 10 provinces and 3 territories, each with its own government. The federal government is led by a Prime Minister and is made up of a House of Commons and a Senate. The Prime Minister is the head of government and is responsible for appointing the cabinet, which is responsible for the day-to-day operation of the government. Major political parties. There are 5 major political parties in Canada, each with different ideologies and priorities. 1. Liberal Party of Canada. The Liberal Party is a centre-left party that advocates for progressive social policies, environmental protection, and economic growth. The party is currently led by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. 2. Conservative Party of Canada. The Conservative Party is a centre-right party that emphasises fiscal responsibility, individual liberty, and strong national defence. The party is currently led by Pierre Poilievre. 3. New Democratic Party, NDP. The NDP is a left-leaning party that supports social and economic equality, environmental protection, and workers' rights. The party is currently led by Jagmeet Singh. 4. Bloc Quebecois. The Bloc Quebecois is a separatist party that advocates for Quebec independence and promotes the interests of Quebec within the Canadian Federation. The party is currently led by Yves-François Blanchet. 5. Green Party of Canada. The Green Party is an environmentalist party that prioritizes sustainable development, social justice, and participatory democracy. The party is currently led by Anhub Paul. Contemporary issues and status update. Some of the current issues and debates in Canadian politics include: 1. Climate change. Climate change is a major concern in Canada, and all major political parties have made commitments to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and transition to a low-carbon economy. 2. Reconciliation with Indigenous peoples. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Canada has made recommendations to address the historical and ongoing harms experienced by Indigenous peoples in Canada, including residential schools, missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls, and systemic racism. The federal government and many provincial and territorial governments are working to implement these recommendations. 3. COVID-19 pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic has had significant impacts on Canadian society and the economy. The federal and provincial governments have implemented various measures to slow the spread of the virus, including lockdowns, vaccination campaigns, and financial support for businesses and individuals. 4. Economic recovery. The Canadian economy has been hit hard by the pandemic, and many Canadians are facing job losses, business closures, and financial hardship. The federal government has implemented various measures to support the economy, including infrastructure investments, tax relief, and support for small businesses. 5. Immigration. Canada has a reputation as a welcoming and inclusive country, and immigration is an important part of the country's economic and social fabric. However, immigration policy has become a contentious issue, with some calling for increased immigration and others calling for stricter controls. That's a brief overview of Canadian politics, major political parties, and contemporary issues. Of course, there is much more to Canadian politics than can be covered in a brief summary, but I hope this gives you a good starting point.